220. I am talking like I have been punched in the mouth. I've literally just come back from the dentist and I didn't
Oh no.
I didn't think through the timing. So
What's happened? Has you had injections?
Yes. I'm like the filling was back here, right? So I went, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But apparently they put the filling here. Can you see that bit there? It's all swollen. So
are you gonna be dribbling?
Well, that's my problem. If I start dribbling, I apologize.
If you dribble, I'll just dribble and then we'll look all right together.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for making me feel better.
That's all right.
I'm going to try and do an intro. We'll see how we go. But if I dribble my way through it, we will just kick off the interview.
Just say less words. S's.
Oh God, here we.
And I bet they're like the dribbling words.
Yeah, and I bet you I have all of those scattered throughout. Okay, let's see how we go. 220 Kid has had hit after hit, starting with Bracey's Don't Need Love, Too Many Nights with JC Stewart, and now he's topping the UK charts with Nathan Evans's sea shanty, The Wellerman. 220, fantastic to have you on the show, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. So yeah, it's all a bit surreal hearing it put like that.
Yeah, well, how does it feel to be topping the charts, like #1 in the UK charts, the iTunes charts? Does that still matter these days?
Yeah, I mean, for me it does. It's when the song came out, we're like, oh, we'll just, because it was only meant to be like a bit of fun on like TikTok and stuff. And then when it came out and it went up like iTunes in the UK, it was like #1 in American dance iTunes. I think it's #1 in a few charts around Europe as well. We're like, oh dear. This is like got out of hand, but it still feels amazing because it just shows that people care and people want to download it and enjoy it.
So how did it happen? Because I was talking to Nathan just the other day and he said you guys had never met. So how does this song come onto your radar?
Just on social media. Like, I'd seen it, I'd heard it a couple of times. I thought that was cool. And then someone said it to the meme with the 4 lads outside the bar, that one.
Yeah.
And I was like, I sat on the toilet and I was looking at it and it seemed so funny and I was like, oh, this would be a really good remix just for like a laugh. And so it kind of came from that. And I messaged Nathan being like, do you mind if I remix it? And he's like, oh yeah, thank you. You're like the only artist who's actually messaged me about it, because other people just like ripping it and making it. So then we kind of stayed in contact and I put a snippet online and a couple of radio DJs like reached out and like, can we play it? And then it just went crazy. And like other radios were recording it off of other radio stations and like labels kept trying to sign Nathan. It was just a bit mad.
But it's really funny, isn't it? It's proof that you really can't predict what is going to hit with people. The only thing you can predict is passion. And that came from a place of passion.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah. I'd been complaining to like my management. I was like, oh, I want to bring out more music quicker. And they're like, no, you have to wait. You have to do it to schedule. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to do it.
So I bet they're not complaining now.
Well, we all were, because we had to work like weekends and everything the last few weeks just to get it, because we're like, the song's come out and now we're chasing the song. Normally you're organised, but so everyone's like, Will, next time you have an idea, just sit on it for 24 hours.
Are you really going to follow that piece of advice?
No.
So can we go back to the very beginning? Like, how did you get started? How did you go from being a carpenter on a computer tour to now topping the UK charts?
I think I'd always wanted to do music, and I kind of had that, like, you have like a feeling of what your dream or whatever it is you want to do is, and mostly people just ignore it because they're like, oh, you got to get on with your life, have a sensible job. But like one of my friends like passed away, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to try it, because he had stuff he wanted to do and he couldn't do it. So I thought, at least if I give it a go, I'm kind of like not living a selfish life and just see what happens. And I kind of I just sort of worked every day then for like 7 years. I was like, as long as I keep working and doing stuff, no matter what the setbacks is, hopefully I'll be like closer to where I want to be. And then, yeah, just kind of had a few breaks at the end and here we are.
And that's an interesting thing that you say there, because people see your success and it must frustrate you a bit when people go, look, overnight success. You have been working for 7 years. How do you keep going when you're just like, oh my God, it hasn't happened yet?
I think something I always used to do, if I had like a setback or a failure, then I'd always get up the next day and I'd have to send like one new email to one, like just one random like chain of thought would be, that would be like a new idea. So just reach out to someone and it just kind of start something. That was always it. Just try something, like wake up and just try it from a different angle. And so just even one email could just trigger. I don't know, I just used to just try that. I wouldn't wallow on it.
So then how did you get your big break?
That was kind of, that was like because with Don't Need Love, like we had it for like 2 years and we were going backwards and forwards on it and working with it with the writers in America. And then I met my manager by mistake.
How does that happen?
So like my ex-girlfriend, she had a friend who lost his passport, so I had to go with her and him to the Brazilian embassy. And then when I was at the embassy, my friend was like, oh, I'm in the studio nearby. So then I went to the studio nearby, and then this girl who's in the session put me on her story, and then my manager saw me on the story, she'd been trying to find me, and it was like that kind of chain.
So you work hard for 7 years and then it's just pure luck.
Yeah, exactly. And then my manager got the song and she sent it to her friend who sent it to my label, and then it was just like lots of things, like random things, coincidences.
Do you know what? You're the true embodiment of, you've turned, like, things do come down to pure luck, but they don't turn into success unless you put the hard work behind them. So those 7 years stood to you.
Yeah, I think so. And just getting the opportunities, like with the first song was kind of just meant to be like a punt, like here's the song. It's not necessarily going to build an artist out of it, but I kind of knew the value of relationships with radio and everyone else. So that's like when the Wellerman came along, I have all my relationships with the radio producers and the DJs, and they saw it and they played it, and that kind of gave the foundation for where this song's gone. So kind of, it all helps.
And then, 7 years in the making, success finally happens. 220, riding high, going, this is it. This is going to be my year. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to play all the gigs. And then everything just goes on pause. How do you deal with that?
I think you just have to try and find the positives in it. Like, only having success in lockdown for me has meant I'm not like traveling loads, so I can stay, and I've written all my like best singles and all my new music's been from that, and just resting, just being healthy. Like, I've got a much healthier lifestyle implemented. Just trying to look at the positives, and even like people being at home and they had to listen to radio, which meant the songs blew up quicker. Whereas if we hadn't had that, maybe I wouldn't have had the success. So not trying to look at it negatively.
Yeah, well, you're right, because a lot of people are hearing stuff that they probably wouldn't necessarily hear. What I love about your music as well, I'm a massive fan of music that makes me happy, that makes me dance, and that's what your music is. But it is also really different, because usually you're bopping away to this stuff and you don't realize how deep it is. You're writing from a really personal place.
Yeah, I only write, I'm kind of like well known that I cancel studio sessions a lot, but I only write if I have something to write about. So if I have a life experience, then I'll write. But otherwise, I'm not going to write for the sake of it. It has to be, because if it's a real story and it's relatable, then I think someone else will relate with it. Whereas if I'm just throwing a few words out there that don't mean anything, then I just don't think it's sort of, you can't reconnect as well.
And I think that's why we are connecting, because yes, we've got a smile on our face. And then after you've like finished that and you're actually listening to it, you're connecting with what you're saying. And I love that you've spoken about as well, the way that music has helped you. How has music helped you with your mental health?
It's just a way of, I think, understanding it. I guess you kind of, maybe as like a male, you're kind of meant to have like this real like facade of I'm all right. And that's kind of what, because I'm older, so that's when the era I was brought up in, it's kind of, oh, you're always all right, boys don't cry and stuff. But I think for me, being able to talk about it and understand my feelings and emotions, that's kind of, it's like the same as when I do therapy, which is also something I kind of advocate, is you need to talk about emotions to be able to understand them, because then you can understand like destructive behaviors or why you feel a certain way, and there's like always a chain and a link. And yeah, just being able to communicate how you feel is a really important thing.
I love that you talk about therapy. I'm not going to ask you what you say in those sessions, because that's between you and your therapist. But I just like, how did you make that first step? Because a lot of us, like, I think it's really important to talk. We all know that. But there's just a block when it comes to seeing a therapist. I think we should all be seeing a therapist.
Yeah, definitely.
How did you get rid of that block?
I think it was a mixture of just being pushed really hard by some people, and then also just being like, I was like burnt out, and I'm like, I'm kind of like just like completely run down. I don't understand why I feel like this, and it's all a bit manic and a bit scatty, and just you kind of like need help. And just some people around me like made that gap between getting help a bit less scary and a bit less daunting, because you kind of think, oh, if I go to therapy, I'm a nutter, like everyone's going to think I'm mental, but actually it's just sitting down having a chat with someone. It's like this, it's just like, it's easy. And once that was broken down, I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what the fuss was about. I really should have like done this before. Well, so if I can show people that it's easier, then I think that's part of my job.
Yeah. What was the biggest surprise for you after you'd been to a couple of therapy sessions?
Just maybe just linking like destructive behavior to something really, it could just be something really small in the week that's happened, and then you can just see a chain of why then you might go and do something silly.
Yeah, completely. And it does help to talk to a stranger, doesn't it? Because friends, like, talk to your friends. It's really important you talk to somebody. But it's really important that you talk to someone who's not connected to you and who's not afraid to tell you the truth.
Yeah. And just someone who's probably like, everyone's got an opinion, especially in friendship groups, but they have like a biased opinion. So you might just need someone who's like in the middle and won't have like even a subconscious like agenda to their answer. So that helps.
So it has been great because it has helped your music as well. And how does it feel for you when now you have other artists reaching out to you, like Tiesto, going, hey, how about we do something together? Do you are you at the point in your career where you still think, is this a joke? Or do you take it seriously?
I'm always like that. I think it's lovely. Like if anyone reaches out, I'm just like, wow, that's really cool. I don't know, everything's still surreal. Like I think Nathan probably said in his interview, he's like, it's mad, everything's mad. And it is just all mad because I'm still in my room because I've just been like, it's in lockdown, everything I've experienced. So I'm still just a guy hanging out in his bedroom who's just like making music. I'm not like experiencing fame or celebrity or anything. So I don't meet these people. I'm just like, all right, cool. Let's see what happens.
Do you think that's quite cool though? Because you are able to sort of take it all in and not be like, by the time you get back out there, you may have a more solid base under you.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. If I'd gone out when I first got the success, I probably would have been a little bit more unhinged than I will be going out now.
I think we're all going to be a bit unhinged when we're allowed out.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you been planning that first gig? Like if you could have any venue to play out, like what would be your first dream gig?
Oh, I don't know. I quite like to play the John Peel tent at Glastonbury, because being in the tent, the atmosphere is so much more intense, and I feel like, especially with like this Wellerman remix, because everyone knows it and everyone loves it and it's so feel good. If that goes off at a first gig, I think it's gonna be chaos. I think I'm probably gonna get arrested for like starting a riot.
Oh look, I'd say the police would probably be joining in as well. We'd all just be really happy to see everyone dancing and sweating together again. So
yeah, exactly.
Like usually you would be out touring this, but you do have time to make new music. Are you aiming to put out a new album anytime soon then?
I've got an album's worth of material, but I think just the way that my music kind of works, it'll be like a couple more singles, and then but it would be good to do like a body, like I said, I talk about experiences and life experiences, so to put everything out in a body of work and like move on from that part of my life would be quite nice. But I think my label just want to long out the heart rate.
Well, maybe you can find a compromise in there somewhere.
Yeah. But no, I think I've got an album's worth, and hopefully I've got some new music coming soon, but I've kind of ruined the plans with this remix.
Look, it's part of your journey. It's part of the journey up there. You've collaborated with Nathan, you've collaborated with JC Stewart, and any dream collaborations?
I want to do something with Diana Ross, but everyone keeps saying that's such a random selection.
Do it.
But I'd love, or Dolly Parton would be cool.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Will, get out there, do it. I would love to see those take off. Just contact them. I'd say people like Diana and people like Dolly don't have people contacting them because they're too busy going to say no. Throw it out there and see what happens.
I might have to. I'll see what they say.
Oh my God, I'm very excited about 2021 now. We're going to see the new 220 Kid by Diana Ross and by oh my God, could you imagine the three of you together? What could you create?
Oh no.
Oh my God. Okay, that's my challenge for you for 2021.
Okay.
Make that happen.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
220 Kid, this has been such a joy. Enjoy all of this and good luck with the rest of the year.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I enjoyed this.